Okay, I made it to day 7 of my narcissist journey, and it's not bad. Um, so I'm going to start with the real love of my life was my dog Fergus. 16 years old when he passed away in October. He was a pug. Love him, love him, love him. Got him. I don't know if you can see a little bit of his nose tattooed on my arm. Um, I share that because it was devastating. I'm still very emotional and sad about it. I'm a dog person. I don't think I've ever gone longer than 3 months of my life without a dog. Yes, there is a cat in my life that was an impulse buy. It turned out to be good. He's a good little dude. But like life is not complete without a dog. So it's been how many months? Definitely more than 3. And I will admit that part of my delay in considering adopting a new dog is that with the narcissist, our plans were always very last minute because of him. And I could accommodate that because I didn't have the responsibility of a dog at home. So this morning I had a doctor's appointment. And when I walked into the doctor's office, there was a man there with this like ginormous dog. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite this big. Sweet as could be. And I think, you know how like dogs, they sense things. They know you, they know your soul. And this dog walked right up to me and like just put his little head, well, actually his big head. That sounds terrible. His giant dog head, like leaned into my leg and like gave me a hug. And I feel like that was a sign that it's like time to maybe start considering adopting again. My big hesitation is that I also like to travel a lot and it's so expensive getting pet care. There's a lot of expense considerations and going back to being like not as independent with being able to just come and go as I please. So I have to think about it. But today was kind of the first time I thought about it because I had this moment with a dog. I should also mention I am neurodivergent and have ADHD, if you haven't picked up from the way I have these chats and I'm kind of all over the place. So that is why I am dealing with some of these weird dating situations. Again, because I'm an empath also, and I'm probably trying to be more open-minded than maybe I normally would be. Because you know what? Maybe some of these people are on some kind of a spectrum or neurodivergent themselves. And so perhaps a meatball photo and leg photo conversation, I don't know. Maybe there's more to that. So I got another photo today of legs and socks. And so this time I said, okay, I'm not really quite sure what to make of this. And so then he responded and he was like, oh, I just, I like clothing or outfits. And so it's fun. And I was like, okay, I also like clothing and outfits. So, okay. Thank you for that explanation. I said, we haven't really had much of other conversations, so I just didn't quite know how to like interpret your personality. So now there have been some more conversation, like we have now discussed what I drink for beer. So I feel slightly better about that. I still don't know that I will pursue this, but like, okay, I'm trying, right? I'm trying to be a little bit more open-minded and understand that like I'm weird. Other people can be weird too. They still might be serial killers, but I'm not. So we'll see. Also, as I'm talking about this whole thing with like dating and like these guys that like get into these whole conversations and then like ask you out and then don't show up, like part of those conversations are like the butt eating and like they go through a list of like, do you do this? Do you do that? Will you do this? Do you like this? And it's like, I'm totally down for those conversations when I've met you. Okay. Like just let me have a beer and you can ask me any questions you want. I will talk about those things. But like what's weird, not those things. Like, cause like I said, everybody's got your thing and like, please enjoy that. I'm not judging it. Why I find it strange is that you're asking me these things when you haven't even bought me a beer or allowed me to buy myself a beer. I need to know that I can eat a meal across the table from you face to face. I have to at least be able to tolerate that before I can consider putting my face near the digestive end of your process. That is all. That is all. I don't know. Is that unreasonable? I'm not sure. I don't think so. But whatever. So here's another thing I've noticed, right? Like 50-year-old dudes on dating profiles saying, still figuring it out. I hate to say this, especially because I am like younger in spirit than my age. I am 51. But if you are 50 years old and you are still figuring it out, we're in the approaching death years. This is the period of time where we should be figuring out kind of like how we might want to retire, and like if we have a significant other, like how we want to spend the last years of our lives, right? We should know that by the age of 50. And I would argue that I'm being generous because I think even a 40-year-old man who has been divorced and has children should have it figured out. But I can understand that maybe from like 40 to like 45, maybe you got married younger. And so like that's your like midlife crisis, but mathematically you're still probably a little bit over the midlife crisis based on life expectancy for men, especially single men, because it gets shorter. So again, another reason why a 50-year-old man should definitely not still be figuring it out, because you've got a shorter lifespan than I do, and I have it figured out. Either I'm going to end up with the right person or I'm going to do this alone. And I have always planned on doing it alone because I have always seen that to be the better option. So unless I get a better option than that, that's still my plan. It's figured out. The only thing would be the added bonus of somebody who is adding to the quality of my life and upping what is already a great quality of life. So figured it out. Okay. So like that 50-year-old still figuring it out, or like short term, all that, get over it, dudes. You're old. Okay. And you could die any minute. You are being very aspirational, all things considered. So you should have it figured out. That's my big dating tip for today. Another thing that's interesting about like kind of the neurodivergent ADHD thing, and it just like I've known this for a long time, but it did come out in my therapy the other night because I'm so like, this relationship has to have like a clear beginning and a clear end, right? So no wonder I'm like, okay, if we're going to talk, ask me out on a date so that we can figure out whether this is going to have an option or not. Like I can deal with like some, waiting and all that stupid stuff of trying, like if it's promising, I can deal with the dating fun butterflies part. But like if it's not, then I want to just like clearly shut it off. Like I don't want to be some part of somebody's text roster who like doesn't follow through and then 3 months later texts me as though like we haven't had a conversation, which has actually happened to me. I had a guy reach out to me on one app, start a huge conversation that went on for like over a week, and then like saw me on a second app and hit on me again with a similar pickup line, which I thought was a joke because I assumed we knew each other pretty well at that point. And when I pointed out, I'm like, so I am the same person that you were just talking to. Like he freaked out and like deleted and whatnot. So that's a real thing. They're like, they can't even keep track of what they're putting on their roster. So I don't want to be on the roster. Let's move on. But it's also kind of why I had to have like these, like when I figured out what the narcissist was up to, I had to have like that one final say because it needs a clear beginning and end. And I'm really good at managing gray situations. Like when people bring gray scenarios to me, I can handle it, but it's because I solve it and I give you a black and white response and solution. So I can handle lots of complexity, but I like clear beginnings and ends. And that is not what's out there in the dating world. So help me navigate this.